Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Art Therapy Thursday and we're going to continue working on the pastel picture that we colored using some colored pencils on top of the pastel. So I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera. I'll move a few things out of the way here. And we're going to put the colored pencil down and then we're going to do another technique over the wings and hopefully it will work. So we're just going to switch you over. There we go. Now I'm just going to put in the shadow of the dragonfly on top of the water. And all of this is done with oil pastel at this point, except for this flower. Because I wanted to see which pencils worked on the paper. I am using the Flowwood colored pencils. These are not the watercolors. These are just the straight colored pencils, which are an oil-based pencil going over top of a oil pastel. Now usually you have to let the oil pastel dry a little before you can do too much on it. But if you put it thin enough, you can color right over top of it without lifting it up, which is really cool. Now if you do find some is lifting up, it's fine. It's just a little thick in that area. So we're just putting in that shadow line on the water. Now we know the shadow is going to be on this side because the shadow is on this side of the bug. So that's how we know where to put that shadow in. Because the sun is coming this way. We're also going to put in the details for the leaves and the flowers with the colored pencils. Sorry if I'm turning the page. We're also going to fill in the other flowers and small detail things. Now we could have put the shadow details in with oil pastel, but I do find in these smaller fiddly areas that it works a lot better to just use colored pencil. You get that finer detail a little bit better. Because as you saw here, we were able to build that color right on top of each other. So it can be done. Excuse me. when I have to clear my throat suddenly. Alright. Also getting into all of the small crevice areas that I may have missed with the pastel. Because sometimes getting into the finer lines with the pastel can be a bit of a bother when you're trying not to go over the lines. So sometimes you just gotta fill it in a little. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday and is enjoying the week so far. It's been really cold here in Oregon, so I haven't been enjoying it too much. Definitely not outside a whole lot right now. It's just a little too cold. All right. Now this side here is going to be lighter, so I'm not going to go as heavy with the shadow color. I'm just going to do a very light layer just to fill in any lines. And a little bit of blue in areas that shouldn't be, so just scrape it off if you need to. Just going to fill that in a little bit darker in there. Same with up through here. Where the clusters of flowers and leaves and stuff are going to be, it's going to have a little bit more darkness in the water. And that's what I'm coloring this as it's a dragonfly over top of a pond. Alright. And of course tomorrow we will be working on the Flowwood watercolor picture from Color It. This is also from the Color It family. This is from Seasons, and the one we'll be working on tomorrow is from Mythic Fantasies, or Mythic Fantasy, or Mythic and Fantasy, I think. I have to look. I always call it the wrong thing, but it's a lovely book. So. And I'm finding that with adding the oil pastel, the paper is actually accepting pencil a little bit better than it used to. Not sure if that's just because of the oil pastel or the type of pencil it is. I don't know. I could have been trying to color on it with the wrong type of pencil as well. Because, you know, as we grow in our learning curves, we find out that certain paper just does not do well with certain types of pencils. comparative to other types of pencils. Okay. Just going to come in through here a bit better. Alright, so we've got our water in there. We're going to take our brush and we're just going to wipe away any excess colored pencil. And then we're going to go in and we're just going to fill in. Actually, I want to do the bottom part first. Let's do it the right way around. Do our shadows first, or our base areas, our dark colors, because the lighter color will overtake it a little bit, and that's what I want. If I try to put it on top, it just doesn't look the same. Alright. And the light color, that's better. So I hope you have all had fun playing with oil pastels this week. It has been a lot of fun for me. I don't get to play with my oil pastels very much, so. Same with the watercolors. That's why I choose an entire month to do watercolor in, because I don't get to play with them as much as I'd like to. And I'm a little afraid of them, to be honest. Yeah, I don't play with them very much because I'm kind of a little afraid of them. So I'm just going to go through here with some orange. And this one I want the red to stick out a little bit. So I'm doing the orange first. I want that orange to be really, really dark, but yet still bright. So then we're going to take our red down at the base. And we're going to go through here. And then we're going to take our yellow. And we're just going to blend it right into that red. Like so. This one we're just going to do straight red. No, it's a pinky red, so. And then we're going to do a little bit orange in here. And our yellow. Just to blend it out a little. Now we've got this one and these to do, and then we'll start on the other flowers. And I think I want, let's do a purple one. Let's do a purple flower. So we're going to use this one and like this one. Alright, so we're going to take our dark color first. Because this paper is not extremely toothy. You're only going to get a few layers on it, one or two. So I always, when I know that I'm not going to get as many layers as I like on it, I always put down the dark color first and then blend it with the light color. And if I can, I go back and intensify the dark if I need to. All right. And then our light color. I'm going to use that overlap there to my advantage and blend it into the colored pencil, giving that turn down a bit of a shadow. Okay. Then we're going to take our orange and then our yellow. Like so. And then we'll dust it off. All right, so let's make sure we don't have any areas that have picked up anything that we don't want it to, like this one. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with this one here. We're going to go with a really deep pink. I think this one will work. And we're just going to put in a little bit of that definition, especially in the shadow areas, the overlaps. Like so. And you, like I said, we've already put in the baseline for this. We put in the medium tone and the light tone with the pastel. Now we're just going to go over it with the dark tone and put in that definition, that shadow. Put in the wing shadow there. Alright, and then we're going to do the same thing down here. And then we're going to take the orange and we're just going to put it in here. Like so. Dust that off. And then we're going to throw that one on the floor. Don't do that. I'm just going to put this purple in here. We've got a shadow from the leaf there. in the water already, so we don't need to do too much with that. And again, we're going to take our orange. Soften it right into that pastel, like so. And then we're going to do the orange flower here as soon as I pick up this pencil, because I need that pencil. So we've got this one here, so we're just going to take a little bit of the orange. A little bit more of it there. Like that. Alright, now we're going to take our red. And we're just going to put in a little bit of extra definition on this flower because it doesn't need a whole lot, because we already did it with the pastels. We can definitely up the definitions a little tiny bit just by using some colored pencil. We don't need to do a whole lot on this one. And then we're going to take our orange. Like so. Basically just putting in a little bit extra definition in those areas that I've already put that definition into. I'm just brightening it up a little bit, making sure that it's really defined. Correcting any areas I feel need to be corrected a little bit. Like so. Alright, now we're going to take our purple and we're just going to do that is the light one, okay. And we're just going to fill these in. Because why not, right? Alright. Now we're going to pull out a dark green and we're going to do the leaves. We've already got a medium light green down there. So we're going to use a dark green. We're going to use number 126. And I'm going to sharpen it. And we're just going to put in that deeper green color. Especially with these smaller plants, getting that definition in there was a little bit more difficult, especially with oil pastels. We were able to get the base coat down though, which is great. So if you haven't played with your oil pastels or don't have oil pastels, um, and want to give it a try, please do. Even if you do this without the heat mat, you don't need to have the heat mat. You just have to use a little bit less um, than you would feel that you need to, because a little tiny bit goes a long way. So you don't need a whole lot to completely cover the area that you want to cover. You may feel like it's not enough, and you may feel that you need more, but to be honest, you really don't. Alright, gonna come through here, finish up this leaf here, also with the dark green. Now this is, to me, a spring scene, so all of the leaves are going to be a nice spring green. Alright. Now the one thing about the color books is their lines are really thick. So you may find that using colored pencils right on top of the lines can be a little difficult, but that's fine. That's why we go beside the line. And we just work that in. Like so. We put the shadow here. And just blend that in. Sorry if I keep on turning the page. Trying to work on it without rubbing too much of the pastel in case it's not set properly yet. Once it's set properly, you should be able to rub your hand across it without any issues. This part here I just finished today, so I don't want to rub my hand over it. Alright, same within here. Alright. And that's pretty much what we're going to do for the majority of the rest of this, is we're just going to go through and re-add that definition back, those shadows back into the background areas, the picture itself. There wasn't really any shadow areas in the picture per se, but there are a lot of hints on where those shadows are going to be. So follow those hints. I'm going to show you another technique as soon as I'm done this part here on the dragonfly's wings, of another way that you can utilize different colors of oil pastels. Now this is going to become a little bit thicker on the wings than if you were to do it just the regular way. So if the wings don't dry right away, don't be worried about it. It will sooner or later. You just have to keep it out so that it can air out and dry. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up this part here. Like so. check this, make sure it's dry. Yeah. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our white Paul Rubens. You know, fun fact, the actor who plays Pee Wee Herman, his name is Paul Rubens. Isn't that a fun fact? Crazy fun fact, but a fun fact. Alright, so I'm going to take a really thick amount and we're going to spread it on top here. And hopefully this works. Alright. So now this is a lot thicker than I would normally put down on any surface for a reason. I haven't lost my brain. I am still working on all my faculties. It's okay. I know I normally say do not put this on extremely thick because you will find that it doesn't dry right. And I'll show you why I've put this on there extremely thick in just a moment. I'm trying to make sure I cover the whole areas without mixing it because I don't want it to mix. I just want it to cover. Now I'm wondering, now that I've flattened that down a bit, if using it directly will work better. Like I said, I want this to be fairly thick. Like that. I'm just using it directly on the wing. Trying not to push it into that other color. And now we're just going to gently go over that. I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm just trying to move it around so that it's covering the area. Alright, and then we're going to take, let's see if this spatula will work. No, it's not quite stiff enough. Okay, so we're going to take and peel off different areas of it. Like so. Now if you find it, there's an area that you have peeled off that you didn't want to, you just put it back on. And I want to peel off this area here. And this area here. And this area here. Now the rest of them, we're just going to smooth out and put that white over top. Now we can take our other side here. And basically this is just called scratch art. A lot of times you can do this with paper or with paint or with pastel. Now you will find that the pastel itself isn't going to dry as well once you have the thicker pastel on top. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to make sure that I remove the areas of the white that I want to remove, as well as the lines. So that we have some that are purple and some that are white. Like that. Okay, so now I want this area here to have more of the white on it. And then we just fill it in like so. Then we take our other side here, and what we're doing is we're just going to lift off that white. Right off the purple. And if you find that it isn't as purple as you want it to be anymore, just take a little bit of the purple and fill it in. I put too much white on that area there. On my stick, there's too much white. So we're just going to take a clean one here. And we're just going to clean it up like so. Then we're going to do the same thing over here. Now it's always better to try to use a color that you can see through, just especially if you're following lines, or put in your own lines. And then you can not have as much of a mess that I have here. And of course, the great thing about a mess is it's easily fixed and easily fixed up. So I'm just going to spread this out a little bit on that one and this one. Making sure to leave that open space there for the definition in the wing. Take this one. Like that. And we can do the same thing up here. And we're just going to put a little bit more of that white in there. Like so. Now it's not as pretty as I wanted it to be, but I'm sure that once I'm done with it, we'll be able to make it just as pretty as the purple. The one thing that I have learned with metallics is that you do have to be very gentle with them. You have to finesse them the right way so that they show their metallic shine. Alright, so I'm going to turn on the light here so you can see the shine a little bit. So it gives you the idea. Let's pick that off there. What I'm going to do with that. So as you can see, there's a shine on the entire wing area as well as the dragonfly itself. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the purple and I'm just going to put it on this one here. That might be a little too thick, but we'll try. And we're just going to put a little bit on each eyelid here. Then we're just going to gently push it into place. So, and that is our dragonfly. I will finish the wings and I will post a picture of it. I will finish all the greenery and the wings and everything else, and I will post a picture of it on Instagram. Welcome, Claire. So there we have, let's put it the right way around here. So there we have our dragonfly over the pond. This is, of course, done by Color It. I have used the oil pastel, the Paul Rubens oil pastel, as well as the Flowwood colored pencils, and yeah, that's it. Just oil pastels and the Flowwood colored pencils. With that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. I hope that this has been a very therapeutic Art Therapy Thursday. It has been for me. I've got to make a bit of a mess, which is fun. And I will go through and finish the other side before I take a picture and go through and finish putting all of the different levels of green into the surrounding foliage. And then I will post a picture of it on Instagram. All right, guys, with that, thank you all very much for watching. Always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. And of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.